All right, here we are in the Skinny Life podcast down here at the End Zone Pizza and Pub in Burnside, Kentucky. The last Tuesday night open mic and community jam. That's right, the final open mic and community jam, folks. And we're sitting here with none other than Mr. Eddie Ford, the owner of the End Zone Pizza and Pub, a good friend of mine for a long, long time. And he brought a guest with him. Eddie, I'll go ahead and let you introduce your guest, man.
Yeah, this is a good friend of mine, longtime friend, Sean Klaus. Sean's been a part of the End Zone for a long time, and he means a lot to us, and he's kind of like you, Skinny. He's just part of the family. Sean, we've had a great run. Tonight's been a great night. Last open mic. Skinny, I think you did our last song.
I love it.
Two next to the last songs anyway.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was
we're
unbelievable.
Skinny
awesome. Leonard,
we'll be back together, and we're going to be down here Friday night at
That's
the End
great.
Zone Pizza and Pub. We're going to rock this place, turn it upside down, inside out, and all that good stuff. And hope you folks get to join us for that. It's going to be one hell of a show. And then I'm headed out to Florida that night. So
he's got it made, man. He's headed to the beach all
Well, I
day,
mean,
so
we're not following him down there.
Yeah, we're not far behind him.
We'll follow him.
get down to Orlando, come holler at me, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be off the chain, man.
We'll work up the
I'm gonna make it-
panhandle a little bit.
I'm gonna make up for some lost time. What I'm gonna do?
I
Right.
guarantee it.
Oh hell, we're gonna get down there. The old lady's gonna get tore up. I'm gonna get tore up. It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be fun as heck.
It'll be the one time we can get tore up, not to drive home.
You have to go out of town for her to let you do that?
No. But she don't get to do it much, and so whenever I go out, usually I get to drink, and she drives home, and
I got you.
then once in a while when she gets to drink, I drive home. So we'll both be able to do it down there. We don't have to worry about
I think her and I've packed you from here more than you've packed her. I promise you that.
Well, that's a funny boat that I'm in.
That's the thing, though. You don't have to pack her because she gets sweeter and friendlier. No shit, man. We went one night. We did a show down in Stearns, Kentucky, down at the American Legion. Craziest shit. I think it was our first show we ever done.
Right.
And I'm up playing music and stuff. You know how it goes. And I come down, and this lady down there is looking at me and grinning. She's a bartender. And I walked over to her, which I've known her for a long time. I said, "What's going on?" She said, your old lady, man, said she's up helping people find their seats and helping them get their drink orders. And I looked at her, I said, "Do I need to say something?" She said, "Hell no, the best help I've ever had." And they all thought she worked. People were tipping her.
At first, I thought you were talking about what she does here.
I know. I thought he was talking about me. Because I'll help this.
Yes.
You know?
I'll tell you,
Hey.
I've had some crazy nights down here, that's for sure.
All right.
I come in one night down here, and I told him, I said, and this is one of the nights Eddie had to pack me out of here. I told him, I said,
birthday night?
But that's okay.
No, it was before that. I told him, I said, I'm not going down there to drink tonight. And I got down here, and Cam and Taylor and a bunch of them come in, and you know how it is with your friends. They start buying you shots, and you don't want to say no, you know.
Yeah.
So I kept telling them, dude, slow down. I'm good. Every time I turned around, I had another double shot at the table. I think Eddie might have been guilty of sending me a couple. I'm not sure, but all I know is
But that's okay.
That's one of the few times I don't remember leaving. I really don't. Got up next morning, felt like hell, and she said, "Yeah, you drank a few last night." I'm like, yeah. But now, my birthday was different.
That was different.
You know, I wasn't here for that.
Oh,
Sean
man.
wasn't here
And-
for that one.
That was a
And
hell of a
I'm
night.
sad about that. But I'll tell you this. I have a birthday with you.
Oh.
I
Uh-oh.
promise you that.
There you go.
I'll tell you what we
Promise.
did. We decided we were going to come down and play the End Zone for my birthday. I never got to do a show on my birthday. It's always been the day before, day after, or some shit. So we decided we were going to do it. Eddie was all game for it. And we got down here, and the deal was I could cut loose and have a good time.
Well, he was supposed to cut loose after 10 o'clock.
Right.
After 10 o'clock.
But it probably
Well, yeah,
started
but-
at 8.
but-
you know how birthdays go.
I got
Yeah.
down here, and a good friend of mine, Chris, from back home, he was here, and I wasn't expecting him to be here. He
Did you
starts feeding
start-
me shots of
did you start
Patron.
early?
No.
No?
Okay. Actually,
I think it was just more quick.
yeah, it was quick.
Yeah.
But he started feeding me Patron. Patron messes me up. And under normal circumstances, I won't even touch the stuff. I mean, I'll run. But he was offering me shots. I was like, all right, I'd do a couple shots with him. Well, I got done with those shots, and then another buddy of mine come in, Carlos. And he was sending me Jim Beam, and another buddy of mine was sending me, I think it was Jim Beam. Somebody was sending me Crown.
I think we closed the place down.
Yeah. Well, I was told, and I don't know. I don't remember anything. After the second set, I don't even remember being in my body. But I was told the next morning she come out. I woke up in the car. That's what I know. I woke up in the back seat of her car with my jacket thrown over me, froze to death.
But you still killed it.
Oh, yeah. We had a blast.
On the second set.
We had a blast.
And
I got up and come in the house, and she says, I will tell you this. I said, what? She said, poor Eddie. I said, what do you mean? She said, you made him sit there and do shots with you before you'd leave. I said,
well, it was easy for me, Tim, because I can just curl up in the booth over
yeah.
there.
Well, and she told me, she said, you was fine till we got out the car and you realized you was leaving, then you got mad. And she said, you cussed all the way home wanting a cheeseburger. I never did get that cheeseburger, by the way.
I wasn't in the kitchen that night. I promise.
I tried to get her to go through McDonald's and she wouldn't. But no.
But by the time morning came, it was a different story.
Exactly.
I had a lot of fun. Had to come down the next day and well, no, I didn't get down the next day, did I? I come down Sunday and got my gear.
Yeah, it was the following day because
I had to come down and get my gear that day.
he needed to come down, but he just couldn't.
Yeah.
So then Sunday he had no choice.
Well, I figured Carla wouldn't appreciate having to walk behind me with a bucket or anything. It was bad. Never mix liquor. I don't have a weak stomach and I never have a hangover, but you get me mixing liquors and it's bad.
I'll tell you what you got right here at this bar. You have love. You have friendship.
A lot of
You
loyalty.
have the utmost loyalty. Oh my God.
Some of the better people I've met in this area have all been right here.
Yes,
as a matter of
and I've left.
As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know the backstory on the whole Skinny Leonard band. But when I first walked in here a couple of years ago, well, it's been, 3.5 years ago.
Almost 4 years.
Yeah, and I walked in here and didn't know anybody. And had been out of music for about 12 years. Had no intent of getting back in it. Somebody asked me to get up and sing, and I got up and sang, and John New was up there. Chris that's here tonight.
Chris Rooker.
Yeah, Chris Rooker was here. I forget, I think Dale was here and a couple others, and I got up there and Dave was here. Right. I got up and I pulled out an old Hank song.
I can't run Dave off. He's always here.
Well, I ain't going to comment on that. You know, some people's just that way. But I went up there against my better wishes and got up there, and we pulled it off. What was so screwed up was before it was over with, I had, of course, Phil Collins was here,
right,
drunk off his ass.
Never.
Yeah, James Taylor was here that night, drunk off his ass. They decided to get up in the middle of the song and sing backup for me, and it was quite a deal. But I had a blast, and I thought, well, I'll start going back down there on Tuesdays, and then I started coming down here, and Phil, we were going up one night to play. We kind of put us a little makeshift band together, and we were going up to do R3. And John New asked me, he said, how do I introduce your band? And I said, I don't know, John. And my nickname's always been Skinny from as far back as I can remember. I looked at Phil and I said, Skinny. What do we call our band? He said, Skinny fucking Leonard.
My God.
And I said, all right. And John introduced us as that, and it's been that way ever since. It's just anywhere even now that it's Skinny and One Night Stands, they still introduce us as Skinny Leonard. So I just said, screw it, we'll go back to that name. So as officially Friday, we'll be Skinny Leonard again. But that was one of the coolest
I'm glad
deals.
that's happening here because that's a good thing. You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
And I have to ask.
So you got yourself, Stephen.
Well, it's
Walt.
No, it's Walt Bradley, Don Brandenburg, my new guitar player.
That's right.
And Joe Dobbs, original bass player, and then our original drummer James Passmore, and me. So we'll be all original except for Don. But but Don fits right in.
And
so.
Steve's playing here tomorrow night. We've got
Yeah.
music going on here tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I think Phil. Yeah.
The bar fly.
Yeah, Phil and Barflies.
Phil Collins.
playing this.
And
And
you know-
the last week we figured.
Blow them out the door.
Well,
I mean, might as well.
music is why we're here, and that's
Yeah.
what's carried us all these years. And,
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to get to on this podcast is because for as long as I've known you, and you've been here longer than that, but for as long as I've known you, you've done a lot for local music. Myself included in my band. You gave us our local break. Nobody else would. And we've been kind of a fixture here ever since, really. We played a lot of shows
Sure
here.
have.
And we always have a good crowd.
Yep.
I can, and one thing I'm going to mention, I won't mention the band that was here. We come in one night and the band was here, and word had gotten around, oh, they're going to pack the place out and blow the doors off and all that good stuff. And we got here and there was probably 10 people, and maybe a couple more inside the bar.
Right.
And I was just kind of, I don't know, I felt bad about it, because it was a good band.
Yeah.
Wasn't nothing wrong with the band.
Right.
And we sat here and ate, and we left and went home. And I told her, I said, we got to play there tomorrow night. That's what sucks. I said, that's going to be bad. But we come in here that next night. I didn't advertise it all week or nothing. I just advertised it that day. I said, I haven't advertised. We're so screwed. Got down here, man, and it was like we had, I think, 40 people?
At least
starting out, and then they'd come in and out all night.
Great night.
Had a badass night. One of our best shows that we've done in a long, long time. And it just shows you the commitment people make to the local music around here. If they like you, they're down.
That's right.
And I went through several band members in the 3 years I've been coming in here.
Been through a couple.
And it got real bad there for a while. It got to where I was like, nah, I ain't going to call it Skinny Leonard no more. I got to bury this shit because it ain't our usual. We ain't up to par.
I don't know you any other way.
Yeah, well, we brought the original. We brought all the original members in. What was really cool is we hadn't had the original members in 7, 8, 9 months, something like that, and we've been flipping through guys, and it just wasn't working. And I told Eddie, I said, Eddie, I think I'm going to retire Skinny Leonard, but I want to do it at your place. And nobody was doing a show on the 4th. And he said, come on
I think
down
that
on
fell
the 4th.
on a Wednesday even, didn't it?
Yeah, it fell on a Wednesday. And he said, come on down. He said, it's going to be on Wednesday. We may not have a crowd, but, we'll do. Shit, it was packed.
Right.
And I even done a wedding. The first wedding I've ever done during a show.
Sure was.
I done it right in the middle of the show. And I married a good friend of mine, a good bass player, Stephen Stewart, and his woman. And we had a blast that night. It was real fun. Sit down here with us a minute, Tony.
Give this guy a hug real quick.
Ladies and
Oh, I'm
gentlemen,
going to miss this. I hope you find somebody to sell it to who's going to let it rock on.
We'll work it out somehow, some way.
I hope so.
I know y'all can't see him, but standing here with us right now is Mr. Tony Armstrong of the Cat Daddies.
I don't know where the camera is, so I guess.
We ain't running the camera.
Oh, you're not
We're running straight audio.
Great audio.
All right, straight audio. Well,
How's Tony
been a-
tonight?
So it was
Oh.
weird, Tony, that you decided to sit down when you knew there was no video. What's going on
Sean
with that?
Yeah.
I'm ugly.
Come on now.
Now, I can get
I think
somebody.
he might have been a little camera shy at first, there, Tim. I'm not sure.
I can get somebody to come in for makeup if we got to. If that's the issue,
He's got the blush going.
Oh, well.
But joining us right now from the Cat Daddies is Mr. Tony Armstrong. Now you got another band that you play with too. I know.
Up in Louisville, it's Jim Needler and the Conspiracy.
I know Jim Naylor. We go way back.
Yeah, he's
And the
Jim's played here
Conspiracy.
before. It's been a while.
Huh?
Jim's played here before.
yeah, it's been a while, but he has been down here.
Yeah, a lot of people know Jim. I met Jim when I still lived in Wayne County, my hometown, Monticello down there. That's when I first met Jim Needler.
Right.
And then I run into him down here one night.
Now, if I remember right, and I could be wrong, I think Jim and his wife, I think they bought a place in Monticello, and they kind of run between Louisville and Monticello.
Well, actually, what happened was they lived down in Monticello. I mean, when I came here in the late 80s, he was already established down here as a performer, and then they moved to Louisville.
Oh, okay.
So, and they kept their house down in Monticello.
Well, now, see, he lived right down the street from me in Monticello, and that's how I wound up meeting him because I lived on Walnut Street, right in town. And he knew my father, which my father plays music.
Right.
So he was like, well, I heard Hollis was your dad, and you sang a little bit, and we got together a few times. That's how I met you. It's funny how everybody winds up kind of, it's like the intersection.
Like a circle.
Yeah, it's like the intersection here.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen a lot of bands form out of this place.
Oh, my goodness.
I've seen a lot of artists take off like a rocket. Travis Harris did a lot of stuff here.
He did.
In the beginning, he did. And just different ones.
I
Rachel Crow.
think Travis played his first show here.
Yeah, and Rachel Crow
band.
kind of got
Rachel did.
a good start here.
Got dude.
I thought we were on. Is that?
That was awesome audio.
Yeah, that noise was Dane Allen Sadler. He skipped out the door on.
That was a fan.
Yeah.
Well, just
He's a fanboy.
Yeah.
speaking as a cat daddy, I want to thank you, Eddie, for letting us essentially be born down here. The first place we ever played, and the last place almost the last place we've played. So
I actually remember just recently hearing the story again because I'd forgotten about it, and then I think you did a podcast with the Cat Daddy. So I heard that story, and it reminded me, JR.
Right.
Brought up some fond memories. I've known JR for 30 years.
oh my God, yeah, me too.
Well,
It brought up some fond memories.
we've seen so many come through here. You know what I mean? And everybody has their own style, their own thing, but everybody works together anyway. Like tonight up there, everybody was working together. You don't find that everywhere you go. That's not the case, I can tell you firsthand, because a lot of places you get up there and it just sounds like a train wreck. And it's no reflection on the musicians. It's just here. It's like everybody kind of grew together.
Yeah, that's the thing is that you created an environment where
family.
a community grew out of that.
not a community,
and
it's
I
a
just
family.
love you for it, and I just want to
appreciate
thank
that.
you so
I
much,
appreciate
and I want you to be
appreciate
happy wherever you land, baby.
I will. I promise you that.
I want you to know.
Tony is always
You're
a
nothing
pleasure.
but family.
Well, thank
Okay?
you.
Always.
And that's what it is.
It's always a pleasure
Yeah.
getting to talk to you, man, and we'll have you back over at the studio and get the Cat Daddies back
I
on.
look forward to
now
it.
that we got a better sound setup.
That sounds good.
Actually, Eddie,
Tony, we may or may not have you on video next time, so we won't even
I
discuss
hope
it
for the
next
sake
time.
of
How's that?
whoever's looking
You know we
at
love
it,
you, man,
the
and
answer is
I really
no.
you know,
appreciate
that's a
Really
weird point
appreciate
about
you.
podcasts. People will
And
listen to
congratulations,
the
man.
audio
Thank you very
quicker than
much.
they'll watch the video.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to. I'd rather watch the video, but I will say that podcasting and YouTube has got me up on politics.
You know, it's hard to watch the video when you're washing dishes.
Yeah, well, Joe told me.
What's hard to
Joe
watch the
Dobbs.
video when it's 1 o'clock in the morning?
Joe Dobbs, an original member of Skinny Leonard.
Yeah.
Original member of your deal now. Still with you
I was
guys.
thinking about what I was
Actually, more than 30 years
swear to
ago,
God.
Joe came down and
Because I was in the back
did some
and I was gonna say,
keyboard.
I didn't know
Wasn't he a
anybody's
student of yours,
names.
too?
Yeah, he was a
And I
student
feel
of
like
mine
an
at the
asshole.
time.
Neat
and,
how that works out.
my friend George Haggard and I had just started experimenting with writing songs together, and he came down one night to my place at Woodson Bend and laid down some keyboard for us. So I thought of Joe as a keyboard player. I had no idea I was going to end up with him back in my life as like the bass player I always wanted to play with. So.
Well, now Joe.
keys.
Oh yeah, he's a bad man on the keys.
Man.
But now,
That dude is badass. And speaking of which, here's another guy you're going to want to talk to.
oh wow, you can't leave Taylor out. So
Taylor
far,
out.
You can't get me away from
so
mine.
far. Well, I'll get to that here in a minute.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Tony.
Always a pleasure, Tony. Holler at me. We'll get you back
All
on.
right, we're going to get home, guys.
We're going to take a quick
Y'all be
pause
safe.
for just a second, and then we'll be right back, folks, here on the Skinny Live podcast on Spreaker Radio and YouTube.
The Skinny Live Podcast.
All right, we're back here on the Skinny Live podcast, and we got Taylor Davis joining us now. And I want to say this real quick. The only guy that's ever been on my podcast that helped me get shut down. They removed our stuff before anybody got to watch it.
We had been drinking. It was pretty offensive.
Well, yeah, well.
But try not to get that far tonight.
Well, you know, it happens, and we had Jesus with us, so you know, it's kind of hard not to be offensive. And we got the man with us, and he was okay and everything. So we're blaming on him. He's not here.
Oh yeah.
Got to blame it on him. But anyway, Taylor, brother, how you been, man?
Good, Tim. Good, Tim.
Good being on stage with you again tonight.
Yeah, for
Been a
sure,
minute.
man. Always good to be on stage at the end zone.
Now, tell us what you're doing as far as band-wise, how many bands you've got going now, and what you guys are doing.
I actually have 32 bands right now. We play.
Yeah. I don't doubt that. It feels like it, don't it?
Sometimes, man. Sometimes it does. I'm still doing my thing with Dane, man. As you saw, we got there and played Sunday night. And,
Now, what do you guys call it?
just the Taylor Davis Dane Sadler Band. You can find us on Facebook. That's what we're going by right now until further notice, I guess.
Still doing anything Riddle 6? Or?
No, not right now. I'm not. I've actually been in contact with some guys. I meet a lot of people whenever I do my thing at Mugby's, you know. And met some guys, man, that I've been talking to. As soon as we find a practice spot, I think we're going to get something up and rolling. I don't know if we'll keep that name or if we'll go with something else, but I think I'm going to get back into my rock and roll a little bit.
Yeah, man. I've been wondering.
Yeah.
Now, you got a lot going on. You mentioned Mugby's down there. You do open mics and karaoke, and the only place I've ever played to this day that has karaoke in between the live bands, which I think is really cool.
That was actually Andy's idea, man. He's got a lot of good ideas if he could just keep them going sometimes. But
sometimes it's hard to implement them, though.
Yeah, that's been one of the better ones, man. We've actually had people copy that, and I saw where they were doing that over in Bowling Green not too long ago, and I know they got it from us because there's a few bands that play over there that go over to Bowling Green, and I know they told those guys about that, and so that's actually starting to spread a little bit, so that goes over pretty well. They like it.
Getting your name out there always helps, no matter what the situation. But now, I also want to give Jeffrey King a little bit of props. He come over to the house with you that night, and that was unexpected, and wound up. Your little woman came too. She showed up there.
Showed up on us.
And we did a lot of music, had a lot of fun. I am right now trying to get that over onto something else. I've got all the music from it. And I'm going to try to get it over on something else and kind of republish it, put it back on there, and get that back on there for everybody to hear. That was something else. That was a hell of a night. And there might or might not have been a fifth involved, or, you know.
Yeah, it happens.
And like you said, we were very offensive that night. We honestly didn't mean any offense to anybody, but it's kind of like once it slips out and you've offended one, you might as well offend everybody else.
And that's what we were going for.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're equal opportunists. We'll hate everybody equal. You know, we said that night many times.
Yeah, I woke up the next day and I was like, man, we might have went a little overboard a few times, but that's all right.
Well, you know what was odd? What was odd is the way that YouTube works. Had I put a label on it, had I labeled it as explicit or whatever.
Now, did they take us off for being explicit, or did they take us off because of the music?
They say it was because of being explicit.
Oh!
Yeah. That's
wow.
That's what their argument was.
That's impressive.
The music's on there, but he won't let it show because it was part of.
I'm not even mad. In fact, I'm impressed.
Yeah. So, I didn't put a rating on it. And, wow.
Yeah, we got some shit going on.
May not be a bar left to play in Friday night. But now, I want to say again, too, the Skinny Leonard Band will be getting back together. We're going to do a show here. Our first official show back together will be.
Now, you're going to have Walt and Joe.
It's going to be Walt and Joe, James, and the only one different is going to be Don Brandenburger, newest guitar player.
I don't know if I've heard him play or not.
He's a beast. He's good. But we're gonna have a blast up here and rock the place out, and hopefully you'll get to drop by, Taylor. And do
I'll be down here at least a little bit.
I'm gonna be getting all the video I can, all the footage I can, and then I've got to leave here, go home, unload my gear, and head straight to Orlando. Actually, I'll be stopping just a little bit outside of Atlanta because I will not drive through Atlanta whatsoever. But I'm gonna drive at least right outside of Atlanta.
Halfway there, or you're a little over.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's worth it. I'll get down there. I'll be sipping beans, sitting in the hot tub.
There you go.
And eventually, I'll make my way to the beach. Now, you and Miranda might come down and hang with us.
We might do that. Speaking of the devil,
it's gonna be fun too. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah. Speaking of the devil, here she is.
What?
I was just repeating what he said. I'm not
Okay.
going to throw you under the bus, man.
Yeah, go ahead and throw him under the bus. What's he saying?
We love you, Miranda.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Maybe this one won't get pulled down. I don't know. Miranda's.
Let's not get us kicked off YouTube again.
Yeah. Hey, I had more fun that night than I have doing one of these so far.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing somebody wrote me the other day. They said, man, why don't you get a producer and all that? I said, because this way it's my show.
Right.
And I can leave it the way it is. I don't have to answer to anybody. They might pull an occasional show off. Other than that, I got no worries, and I don't have anybody to answer to. That's the main thing. And I want to give a shout out to James Crash Mankin. He's endorsing me. He's got the
HAFA? Yeah.
He's got the HAFA Entertainment and Clothing, I think it's called. They're endorsing me. And if things work out well and I can get my ratings up on my podcast a little bit more, by spring, I'm going to go in and do a sit-down meeting with Indian of Lexington.
Yeah, you told me about that.
And they're talking about giving me a full push too, so that'd be really cool. And what that does, folks, I don't make any money off of this. It's all out of pocket. But what it'll do, bring an Indian in or like HAFA, they'll give me some cool stuff to give away, and that's always a plus.
Crash is a good dude.
Crash is one of the finer people I've met in a while, and he's been a big help. Matter of fact, I went to his house for the first time a week or so ago.
I bet you guys had fun.
Well, we sat there till 4 o'clock in the morning and basically just BS'd with each other. And while I was sitting there, though, I got the opportunity he made me a ball cap and a shirt with the skinny name
that's
logo
cool.
on it.
Yeah.
And I got to see that being done, and that was pretty neat watching him. He's just like a wizard, man. He just
Here's Steve Stewart. Steve's got a few hats from him, don't you?
I've got a pimp hat from him.
Pimp hat, he says.
And just joining us, folks, good solid bass player, Mr. Steve Stewart, better known as Slush Puppy.
Slush Puppy's my name.
And
I play the game.
Yeah. And there's a big story behind that. Phil Collins told me that he showed up on that with the biggest damn slush puppy he'd ever seen. So they started
I remember that night. Yeah.
They started calling him Slush Puppy from there on.
You know what Phil's name is?
What?
Asshole. Oh,
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
I'd stick with asshole, but SpongeBob.
It fits him. But we've got a lot of people here tonight, man. A lot of great talent and stuff. And you and Dane got up and rocked it out.
Yeah, that was fun.
Steve got up there with me, and you came up with me, and we did some stuff.
You know how long I've known Steve Stewart?
Oh, God, it's probably been a long time.
He probably remembers better than I do.
I've known him a week or two.
Taylor Davis was 5-year-old when I met him.
And he still acts about 5-ish.
Maybe 7.
He has grown up so much.
Yeah.
Turned out to be a good musician and a good person.
I still had the beard back then, too. It was crazy.
Did you?
Part.
Yeah. You had the beard at 5?
Yeah, I see y'all, man.
All righty, Mr. Ronnie Murphy.
I'll see you when?
Friday?
What time?
I'm going to try to kick it off about 7:30 if I can.
See you too. We're there, buddy.
All right.
Bye. You good? Never.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime.
Don't be hard on him.
Tell you all these stories.
No, you don't.
I bet he's got some good ones, too.
You be good to
I
him.
was in Nashville 29
He's lovable
years,
and
and
cuddly,
I
and you
worked
love
my
him and
way
cuddly.
all the way to the
All
bar.
right, yes.
All the way back to Somerset.
Come over here and say hi to everybody real quick.
Okay.
We're doing one now.
Steve, I'll let you take over here. Tim, it's been good talking to you, man.
Good
Let's do this
talking to you,
again. We'll get Jesus to
Mr.
come
Taylor
back.
Davis, and yeah, we definitely need to get you back in, bro.
You can call this section the Twin Steve section.
Twin C. Okay, folks,
Steve
we're going to take
Steve segment.
We're going to take a quick pause, and we'll come back right back in with Mr. Stephen Shepard, keyboard and piano extraordinaire. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go nowhere.
The Skinny Life Podcast.
All right, and we're back here with Mr. Stephen Shepard, piano and keyboard player, one hell of a musician, and got to hear you tonight burning it up. I tried to do some stuff that you could play into because I know you like to get cut loose on that board, and you did a great job.
I enjoyed it, man.
It's always a lot of fun, and this being the last Tuesday night jam, it's kind of bittersweet to get to come down here and play with everybody again. And this is my first time being here at the Open Mic Community Jam in a long time. I regret that now, but you get so busy with music and traveling and all the thing, and then the podcast, and then I do a morning show every morning. It's a lot to do that people don't understand.
Right.
But I wanted to get down here tonight and try to catch as many of you guys as I could, because all you guys made me feel welcome when I started playing down here.
Well, Doug Holzenbach used to call me on the phone, or he would send a message, and he said, "What's Steve Shepard doing? He needs to come down here and hang out with us on the jam session."
Yeah,
so
man.
I told him 2 or 3 times over a couple of years, well, I'll be down there. Finally moved back up to Kentucky on my dad's farm. So I went and saw Doug, and he said, "Man, you got to come out here." Like I said, "When is it?" "Next Tuesday night." So that was maybe about 2 years ago, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
It's hard to believe Doug's been gone as long as he has now. You know it?
Yeah, I was noticing on Facebook the other day somebody had shared something, and it's been a while since Doug was gone, but they were sharing something from the benefit that we had down here.
Right.
The memorial benefit we had for Doug. And,
Right.
And I was down here. I actually got the pleasure to be down here not very long before he passed away. He was down here one night, and he was selling CDs and meeting and greeting with everybody. And
I got to play on that project. I was so happy to help him out.
well, he got up there. He finally got up there for just a little bit. I think he
Done
did
a
like
couple
one
of tunes.
Yeah. Done 1 or 2 songs, but he was sweet then. But it shows you, if nothing else, it shows you what a tight-knit community we are when it comes to music.
Right.
Especially here at the End Zone. That's what I'm going to miss the most, is the variety of musicians. And it's just like, I've told everybody, if I had to describe or choose a way to describe the End Zone perfectly, it would be, to me, it would be Cheers.
Right. Friends. Good friends, good music.
A lot of people down here that I love and respect dearly, and been good to me. And as a matter of fact, the podcast would not exist probably beyond the first couple of podcasts had it not been for Eddie.
Right.
Eddie came in and sponsored me for a little bit there and helped me get up and going. He actually bought my first microphone, my first podcast mic.
Cool.
And he believed in me music wise, and he believed in me with this podcast thing before really most anybody did.
Right.
And of course Angie, my woman, and I refer to her as the warden. But if I get in trouble, I have to answer to her. And
Keeps you
can
straight.
be dangerous. Can be. Well, I do the best I can, because I like sleeping indoors. You know.
I do too. Now I've got an old station wagon, that if I get run off, I could move into the back of that station wagon, right, Steve?
Well, somebody asked me a while back. They said, "Why'd you get rid of your Jeep and buy the bigger truck?" I said, "Because it's got longer seats, and if I get in too much trouble,
you could sleep out there." Yeah.
If your wife puts you in the doghouse, you got a place to go.
That's right, or my ex or my other ex.
Well, she's left me. She's left me in the vehicle a couple of times. So, but I think that was more or less inebriation, and she didn't feel like packing me in.
Right.
But no, I've had a lot of good memories and good times down here, and met a lot of good folks. Now, just give us a quick rundown of a few people you had the pleasure of playing with. You played with so many.
A long time ago, I used to play in a little band with Jimmy Sword, the Ginseng Band. And
Jeff Mullins.
Jeff Mullins was my neighbor.
Collins.
Yeah. Doug Collins on drums. Before that, BL, we call him, Bryant Lowe on drums.
I tell you who I'm aspiring missing right now is Robert Scott.
Yeah. Robert Scott, man, he was a player. And I reckon he could play that bass and play a trumpet at the same time.
He did. I witnessed it.
Yeah.
That man had one of the wildest looking basses I had ever seen.
Yeah, that Steinberg.
Didn't have no headstock on it.
That Steinberg, those were popular for a while. He had a really great tone on it because he had a certain kind of string on there. He had a great tone on that bass,
wasn't it? String. He was a 5-string.
He was one of the very few people that I've ever seen play one.
Yeah.
That could get the sound out of it that he got.
He got it out of there. He knew how to play bass, man.
I've seen several people play it. I've never seen anybody do it like that.
I consider him my best bass player.
Now he was fun. He was fun to watch on karaoke too.
Yeah,
because he could have the whole room eaten out of his hand.
Yeah,
he was an entertainer. That's what he was. He was an entertainer.
Tim, I got to spend a little time with Robert Scott.
Right.
I got to take him out. We went out to eat a few times, and we ran around each other. I got to know him personally.
Yeah, I've got that crate lamp that he made that you give me.
Yeah.
And I went to karaoke with him down at the square, and he had fun down there. And
Oh, yeah.
We've seen a lot of good ones come and go and lost a few along the way.
I figured he would go before Doug Osenbeck. I figured Doug Osenbeck go before him.
Yeah. My mother used to teach 7th grade down at Central School. And I think she had Doug and Robert in her classes, and both of those guys were so appreciating my mother for teaching them, and she was a pretty hard line on teaching. You had to behave in her class.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things, like I said, I'm going to miss the most about this is all the different people you get to work with.
Yeah.
You get a chance to work with people you'd never get to work with anywhere else, on any other venue, right here.
That's right.
And hopefully we'll keep the fire going and we'll all get together still in some way or another. And
I think they're having a Sunday afternoon jam.
yeah, the final, and folks, this is very, very important. The final show, the doors will be closed after this coming Sunday. So the final show, they're going to have one more big jam here this Sunday night. Come down, folks, jam out, have a blast. And it's really going to be something. I'd love to be here, but unfortunately I've got to be in Florida. So I'm leaving out Friday night as soon as the show's over, headed to Florida. But I'm going to do everything I can to rock it out Friday night, and hopefully a bunch of my friends will show up and we'll get to have some fun and do it the right way.
Right.
But definitely, folks, if you're in the area and you want to be in the midst of some great music and great people, come on down here this Sunday. It'll be the final jam. It'll be the farewell jam, actually.
Wednesday night, Phil Collins and Butterfly.
That's right. And somebody mentioned that a minute ago. It may have been Taylor. Eddie. This Wednesday night, the Phil Collins and the Barflies will be here, rocking out. That's tomorrow night, actually.
Yeah.
I will be here Sunday evening.
Okay, and Steve Shepard on the pianos will be here Sunday. So, folks, if you never got to hear the guy, trust me, it's worth the trip.
We'll talk sometime about my 29 years in Nashville and then the next 15 years.
Definitely want to do that. Been wanting to do that for a while. We'll make it happen.
We'll do that sometime, man.
All right.
Thanks.
Steve, as
Enjoyed
always,
it very
it's a
much.
pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Good to see you, Steve.
And it was an honor getting a chance to play with you.
We enjoyed it, man. I always enjoy it.
I always enjoy playing with you, Steve.
Yeah. All right, y'all have a good one.
Now, folks, we're going to take a quick pause. We'll come back for just a little more of the Skinny Live podcast here on Spreaker Radio and YouTube. So just hang on.
The Skinny Live Podcast.
All right, folks, we're back here on the Skinny Live podcast, coming to you live from the End Zone Pizza and Pub, Burnside, Kentucky, on the night of the final Tuesday open mic and community jam with John New and the gang.
What a night it was.
Oh, yeah. We got Eddie back with us. Eddie Ford is here with us, and we got Miss Laura, my favorite bartender. She's here with us. How you doing, Laura?
I'm good. How are you?
I've been worse.
Me too.
But now, as Eddie said, it was a great night, man. It was a lot of fun.
It was.
And I got a chance to get up there with Chris Rookard and Taylor come up and help us out, Tony Armstrong. Dave was playing drums. I've never done anything when Dave was playing drums, and Steve was on the bass, and that was a real cool thing. I never played with all those guys together at one time, so it was a little different.
That's the good thing about Tuesday night is you never know who's going to show up and where they're going to be at that time in the rotation.
Well, and the thing we kept touching on here all through the podcast is that there's such a mixture of people that have come in and out through these doors, and it's just like everybody grew together as artists. Because there's not, I promise you, I've been to a lot of different jams, and there's nowhere else I've ever been where you can just throw a bunch of guys on the stage that maybe have never played together and come out with the sound that we've got, or come out with what we do. And I was like doing Turn the Page up there. None of my regular guys was here playing. You know, I'd never done that with Chris Rooker. Everybody think, oh, that's an easy song. It's not that easy.
Sometimes you look up there and wonder, what's he doing up there with him?
Yeah.
What's she doing up there with?
And then when you hear it, you just say, you know, that was like whenever I brought Jimmy and June into the band there for a while.
Right.
Everybody was looking at me kind of funny, like, now, how's this going to work? Because she does more of a jazzy, folky thing or something. And it was just like, how's this going to work out? And then she started doing these boots are made for walking or something like that. But to give credit where it's due, June is worth having in the band just because she adds to the entertainment value.
Absolutely.
June is also a very wonderful songwriter.
Oh, yeah.
She's very talented.
Well, she's a good person. She's good people. She's a sweetheart, but, you know, we put her up there and she danced every show, every song. And people would come up and tell me, man, you know, it's cool just watching her. And I'm like, well, you know, it keeps you in the seat today, you know.
June's so preoccupied with what's going on around her sometimes.
And she's a great backup
she's always
singer.
dancing and she's always having a good time.
Well, you know, and she jumped in on, like I had a couple of originals we were doing at the time, and she'd never heard them. And we practiced them like once or twice at practice, and that was it. She'd jump in there and start backing me up on them, and it just changed the whole song. It made it better, made it easier for me to do, and Jimmy did a lot of guitar work with us. He went from bass to electric and kind of flopped him back and forth a little bit. But
Jimmy's very talented.
Yeah, I played with so many people, though, man. Dane Allen Sadler, I played with him down here at the End Zone the only time I ever got to play with him. And he was trying to get me up there tonight, and he wanted to do something with me. Of course, unfortunately, he didn't get to, but, you know, it was fun anyway.
It was good seeing such a great mixture of musicians up there.
I was a bit surprised Walt wasn't here. I figured Walt and Joe would be here. But I know they'll both be here with me Friday.
Walt's usually here.
Yeah.
Walt's even here eating lunch or getting
Yes.
pizza for carry out during the day, you know. Walt's a fixture here.
I know Walt's excited about playing here Friday night. And
we're excited to have you guys.
And I called Joe and I said, Joe, you're one of the original members of the band. We're putting the band back together if you want to come down and play with us Friday night. Because I know he always tells me, if you're going to play the End Zone, call me. And the last couple of times we played it, I didn't have a chance to get with him. I think the last time we played here, you played with us, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah, I did.
And Joe was playing somewhere else that night or something, and he was heartbroken because he didn't get to play. But he will be here with us Friday night. So, and I love playing with Joe. And you never see Joe. That's the thing. You never see him through the whole show. Somebody said, well, what do you mean?
Sometimes he's sitting on the amp over in the corner.
Well, yeah, but even if he's not, all you see around him is this big puff of smoke.
Right.
It's like this headless guy with smoke. And
don't
then if
need
the
a
smoke
fog- you
clears,
don't need
he's
a
got
fog
sunglasses
machine with
on.
Joe around.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I told him a long time ago, I said, you know, if we start doing some metal, we'll save money just having you as a bass player. He said, why? I said, I'm going to sit you right down in the front and the middle.
That's right.
Where you do the whole smoke show yourself. You know? We'll get some sparklers on each
All
side.
you need's
of
a
him.
fan with Joe around.
Yeah. But, and there's an interesting story about him from last year. We did John Prather's deal outside this big block party, and we were playing on a gooseneck trailer. And poor old Joe, as soon as he walked out, and I told everybody before we walked off the stage up there, I said, now when we go to break, watch how you come around that gooseneck because it sticks out, and it was at an odd angle the way it was sitting. And Joe walked right smack into it. And then we played another set.
I'm assuming Joe didn't see it.
No. And we started playing. Well, what was funny is we started playing the next set. Got done with that. Joe walked into it again. I said, there's no way in hell he's going to do it 3 times.
I promise.
All of a sudden, everybody was kind of huddled around, and I seen Angie take off towards her car like a bolt of lightning. I thought, oh, God, something's happened. So I walk over the edge of the stage by the gooseneck. I'm looking down. There's Joe with his sunglasses hanging sideways off his face. And a big old gash mark on top of his head where he smacked it the 3rd time. And it laid him out. I mean, it knocked him out. He was out. And I told him, I said, damn, Joe, I said, you get beat up more than a UFC fighter. But, you know, what the funny part was, she doctored him up, put a Band-Aid on top of his head. He walked back up on stage, finished the show like a trooper. Never missed a beat.
Well, even if you looked in the mirror, you couldn't see it, so it wouldn't matter.
Right. Yeah. Well, them sunglasses, too. When the Cat Daddies come over and did the podcast with me, we were sitting there, and I got laughing at everybody because Joe had his sunglasses on. I said something about his sunglasses. Next thing I know, I look up, Tony and Dale and Cody all got sunglasses on. Sitting in a living room. We were doing it out of my living room at that time. They were all sitting indoors in the living room. The light wasn't that great, and they're all wearing sunglasses. So, that's how they roll, man. But now, talking about good musicians and stuff that I've had the pleasure of playing with that I run into down here was Walt. I met Walt originally back when he was still doing the moose knuckle thing. And, actually, I met him before that when he was doing Amplexes.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't remember Amplexes.
I've got Amplexes cassette at home. Jeff Parmley, I think, made that for me.
Yeah. Well, what was funny about the name Amplexes is I finally stayed after Walt for about a year, and he finally broke down one night at a practice and told me what the name Amplexes meant. And once I found out what it meant, I knew they had a drummer at one time they called Frog.
It can only...
And that's and I said, wow. I asked him, I said, did Frog know what it meant? He said he wouldn't have cared. But I mean,
it's all in the name, right?
I told him, I said, you've been in some screwed up, oddly named bands, man, Moose Knuckle and Amplexes. But then I brought him into Skinny Leonard when we first started, and he was just all about it. And I was talking to him Friday night, this past Friday night. We played down at the Native Pride Riders deal down in Sand Hill. And it was the October jam, and Walt got there. I had to send somebody to get him. His truck was messing up. And he got there, he's all flustered and aggravated. And I said, Walt, just calm down, man. We're following Phil Collins. He just looked at me and started cracking up.
I've seen Walt play with broken ribs. I've seen Walt.
God. Well, our first show,
he's a trooper, man. He's a trooper. He's falling off ladders, falling off roofs.
Our first show down here at Mugby's, like a day before, wasn't it? It was like a day or maybe 2 days before the show.
Right.
Walt falls off a ladder and breaks his ribs. Right. And he gets up and plays 3 sets like a champ. And I mean, he was finally in tears by the time he had to leave. And then Taylor jumped in and helped us. And I apologize for that. That was a rough go.
It was fun.
But then we came back, and we had Cody Meeks with us then. I wish we'd have found Don a long time before what we did, though. It would have changed everything, been a lot different. But y'all come down Friday night, you'll get to see Don Brandenburg. You can come in and holler at Eddie and Laura. We're going to have a blast, and Taylor said he might swing by and do something with us. And
we're looking forward to it.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm going to give it everything I got. Of course,
you always do.
The one part is I won't be drinking that night because, unfortunately, I have to drive. But
Tim, I've probably heard that before. And I think we've sat here and probably closed the place down a couple of times after saying that. So maybe we'll shy away from, we'll see what happens. How's that? We'll just see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll put it this way. The trip might get postponed. I don't know. Knowing her, she'll have to throw me
You
in
might
the
not
backseat.
drive the first 6 hours. It might be the second 6,
She'll throw me in the
right?
trunk or something.
Yeah.
I'll get there. I'll wake
That's
up in Florida
is.
not knowing how. But she's not above that. I've slept in the car more than a couple times.
She'll get you there, I promise you.
Oh, yeah. I'm going one way or the other.
Right.
That's done
Right.
been known.
She'll get
That's
you
been
there.
made very clear. And I'm looking forward to going down there. I've never been. And she's looking forward to the beach. I'm looking forward to the hot tub. I've got arthritis like crazy, so the hot tub, I'll probably never get out the hot tub. I'll come back looking like a prune. That's what happens. And I'll probably never get out of the hot tub.
Just go get a bucket of sand, dump it in the hot tub, and it's all good.
Well,
right?
that's what I told her. I said, just get me a bowl of sand, and I'll put my hand in it while I'm sitting in the hot tub. But she said, no, you got to wear shorts and go to the beach. And I said, as long as there ain't no pictures, we're good. So I ain't wore shorts in about 20 years. So it's
I hear that.
Quit laughing now.
But it's okay. But you know what? You're at the beach. Doesn't matter, right?
I look at it this way. There's a lot of older folks down there around the beach and stuff, and retirement community pretty much. So I'll blend in.
Right.
Think about it, Tim. They won't know you anyway.
You'll blend in or you'll blind them. It's one of the
right.
two. So it's all good.
And I've actually been working on lining up a couple of podcasts with some local artists down there, so I think that's going to be pretty fun.
Good deal.
And we're going to go out and hit some karaoke bars. That's definitely going to be cool.
Well, we might ought to, Taylor Davis, Steven Stewart, myself, we all ought to just fly down there and close some karaoke bars down with them.
Hey, that'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome.
Sounds good to me.
It can happen.
Steven, we going myself.
Really?
Man. See what happens?
I didn't even know she was back
See
there.
what happens?
Well, Steve told me earlier. He said she's always around.
She's always around.
I'm not even going to say it. I was going to, but I'm not.
He said you're always around. That's what he told me. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about us three flying down there. And
Well,
Angie will have to go. She'll go seashells. I know she likes seashells, right?
As long as I don't.
And you're
going to
get me in trouble. I'm
before.
going to get in trouble, aren't I?
Yes, you are. We're going to jail.
Is it Angie jail or are we going to real jail?
Nah, we'll go to. I'm gonna tell you this, and this ain't no shit. I done put it out there that when I get down there, the first damn cop tries to chase me down on 10 speed. It's gonna be some funny shit.
You know, I agree with you, but
he better.
I'm afraid they'll catch me.
I'm gonna stick some cards in there.
Depends on what time it is.
Sound cool,
right? Well,
you know.
I figure you go Disney World down there in Orlando.
Ain't going
he might wear some Mickey Mouse ears. He might come back with some ears.
Ain't going no. I will tell you this: we're thinking about going one day, maybe while we're down there, going to SeaWorld or whatever it's called, or something island. Anyway, you can swim with the dolphins, and there's all kinds of crazy crap to do down there.
Remember what happened to Hank Hill?
Going on at Universal. I think that was cool.
Well, I told her, I said, the only reason that you would get me to go to something like Disneyland would be if they got like the Harry Potter city down there.
Well, I don't care
or
swimming
German
with dolphins.
Where they got the beer.
You know, I don't care swimming with dolphins, but I don't want like 60 people up there watching me.
Right.
You know, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, if I have it my way, I'll have some beam with me, so I won't care.
Well, or ghosts.
I'll get the dolphins drunk. They'll be swimming sideways and shit. Just wait.
Then we're going to have to fly down there and pick him up. Yeah. That's what we're going to have to do, right?
Yeah, go down and pick him up.
I'll be doing a special podcast on my way back from there. Apologizing to everybody.
3 days early. That'll be the problem. It'll be 3 days early.
Yeah, I'll be in Orlando jail.
Leave the state or else.
I'll have my aunt bail you out down there, my aunt in Orlando.
I'm telling you right now, you'd have to, because Angie would leave my ass down there. I got down there and screwed up, she would leave me, and there ain't no joke about that.
Well, my
She's
aunt
like,
pick
you
you
got
up.
yourself in there, get yourself out.
My aunt will pick you up.
Steve, something about that statement worries me just a little bit. When you say something like that, you start grinning. Y'all can't see him. He's grinning like a possum when he says it. That makes me fairly nervous.
No, you wouldn't worry about her. My wife or her dog.
But we was talking about that a minute ago too. I did the first time I ever done a wedding during a show, right smack in the middle of a show. Was you and her.
I felt welcome that night. You know,
we had a good crowd that night.
It was a good night.
The ones that Laura didn't run off.
Right.
Squeeze a bite here, tip. That is mine.
Yeah, it was laying there.
Taking it back for the home team.
All right, man. But Mr. Taylor Davis has been with us tonight. Like I said, a lot of good friends down here. I've met a lot of good people.
It was a good night, man. I'm ready for Sunday, too. I think Sunday's going to be a lot of fun.
I would love to be here Sunday. I hate that I'm going to have to miss it.
Hey, if you're on the beach, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's...
Well, Friday night will be
You can't apologize for being on the beach.
Friday night will be my Sunday if I can get enough of my friends to come by and play.
It'll be a good night.
I know Bob's going to come by, Bob Arena. He does a great...
I might be here.
Yeah.
Bob's come a long way. He
does a great job on that Last Dance of Mary.
Bob's come a long way. He's a good musician. He's
a good guy.
He's really come a long way, and I think
What's kind of strange?
I think a lot of Bob's a great guy.
What's kind of strange is I tell people all the time, if you ever want to see Ned Flanders in person, Bob.
Yeah,
it's Bob.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, that was the first thing I thought first time I met him, especially when he started talking. I was like, that's Ned Flanders. somebody knew him.
Right.
But Bob's a good person, and Doreen's a great person.
Oh, Doreen's great.
Timbo, I'll see you on Friday, man.
All right, brother, be here.
All right, Taylor,
Be
good
safe.
to see you, brother. Appreciate you coming
All
out.
right, folks.
I'll see you tomorrow, I'm sure.
That just about does it for us here. We're gonna wrap it up here and get on out. I got to get some lunch up to Angie, and kind of weird taking her lunch at 1:30 in the morning. Whatever. But anyway, Eddie, man, it's been a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Always. I appreciate you coming down, and we had a great night tonight, and I'm glad you were a part of it. We look forward to Friday night.
Now, folks, tonight was the final community open mic and community jam with John New. Tomorrow night is Phil Collins and the Barflies. Anything going on Thursday?
Thursday night we've got Chuck with Looney Tunes
Chuck
coming
Looney
down,
Tunes
and
karaoke.
they always bring a good crowd. And
Friday night be the Skinny Leonard Band. Friday night. What's
That's
going
gonna
on
be a
Saturday
great night?
night?
Saturday night we've got Steve Taylor coming
Steve
in to
Taylor will
play.
be down Saturday night, and then we're winding it all up. The final show will be one big jam down here on Sunday night. Folks, come down and take this thing on out with them, and take it out in a big way. So catch all the shows this week, folks. You won't want to miss it. It'll be worth driving down just to get to see some of these people. Been a pleasure as always, and I love this place. I hate to see it go, but we're friends anyway outside of this place. So we'll get to hang out some more. And folks, we will catch you next time here on the Skinny Live Podcast on Spreaker Radio and YouTube. Check us out. I want to give a shout out to Halfa Entertainment and Clothing for making my shirts and hats and keeping us going in that area. And want to thank Eddie and the End Zone Pizza and Pub for being our very first sponsors and believing in us when nobody did. And so, as I always say, be safe, and for God's sakes, be good to each other. This has been the Skinny Live Podcast on Spreaker Radio.
The Skinny Live Podcast.